Why do we fall, Bruce? So we can pick ourselves back up. That's deep.
That's an Alfred quote, not a Batman.
I know, but it's from the movie, so it counts. Okay, in today's video blog tip, we're going to be talking about a really cool strategy when it comes to wholesaling, and I want to share an idea on how to actually wholesale a deal without ever talking to the buyer. And this is for your wholesale deals where there's an agent involved, a real estate agent. So what I mean by that is, let's say that there's a deal out there, it's listed, and you get it under contract to purchase, and your intent is to wholesale that deal. And I'll use some examples here. Let's just use real simple numbers. Let's say we're talking $100,000 is your buy, and you're going to wholesale it for $110,000. Okay, those are your numbers. And you've got an agent who has the listing on this deal for 100. So you get it under contract for 100,000. Your goal is, by the time you get to closing, is to wholesale it to a buyer for 110. So a $10,000 wholesale fee. Now, here's a really cool technique. I do this all the time. In most cases, when you got that deal, there were other offers. Okay, so maybe you came in cash, and or you were quick to the deal. For whatever reason, you get the deal. Maybe you double dipped, which we'll talk about another time, which is a really cool strategy with agents, where you work them on both sides of the commission. They get the buy side and the sell side. Anyway, whatever it is, usually on listed properties where you're working with an agent, there's multiple offers. So you get this for $100,000. Here's what you do. You call back up that agent. This is after you've got your deal under contract. You've got to make sure it's under contract first. You call back up that agent and you say, listen, I'll tell you what, there were probably other offers that came in. I got the deal. Thank you so much for getting that for me. But here's what I want to do. If you can go back to those other offers that made offers, okay, and you can tell them, look, here's my number. I'll flip this property. I've got some other things I'm doing. If you'll go back to those other buyers and offer them this deal for 110, or you could say 111, or whatever. And if you do that, I'll tell you what, I'll give you an additional $2,000. So on top of their regular commission they're going to get on the 100,000, all they have to do now is they have to go back to those other offers that want the deal because they made offers on it. Tell them, sorry, you missed out. Somebody else got your deal, but I'll let you know that you can get this deal still if you're willing to come up to 110. And if that agent can line that buyer up and get that deal done, then basically you're going to pay them $2,000 out of your wholesale fee to that agent for actually doing that deal. Now, what's cool about this is you didn't have to find the buyer. You don't even know who the buyer is until closing. You'll find out who the buyer is, but you're letting the agent work other interested buyers on your deal because they're investors probably, right? And you're just working that number. And I make this offer on just about every single deal I do where there's an agent involved. And I'll tell you, I would say probably 25, maybe 50% of the time, the agent bites on it. They say, oh, what? I'll get another couple $1,000s. If I know there's a buyer's agent, so if I'm dealing with the listing agent and the other offers came from buyer's agents, I may even bump this up to 3 and say, give $1,000 to the buyer's agent. What you don't do is don't try to go around. Don't call up your agent and say, hey, would you mind giving me the names of the other people that made offers? I want to call them up and see if I can wholesale them my deal. That's not what you do. What you do is you let the agent do it so they have control over it and they feel good about making that, putting the deal together and then getting paid an additional $2,000 or maybe 3. So if you really want to net 110, it all depends on if the numbers pencil out, but you could bump this to 112 to budget in now for your agent. Or the way I look at it is, man, if I make a couple grand less on my wholesale, I still make 8. But I didn't do anything. I didn't even have to call any buyers. The agent had the buyer, all of it. And I'm adding a new buyer now to my list because you'll meet that buyer at the closing when the closing happens, right? So now you're adding a new buyer that you didn't previously have on your buyer's list. That's huge. That's worth a lot of money to me to add new buyers. And this is a really quick way, really simple way to get your deals done without ever having to talk to a buyer. All right, that's today's wholesaling tip. This is Jerry Norton signing off.